All right. I am so excited, y'all. You have no idea why I'm excited. Facebook. I got my boy, Mr. Mauricio Mejia, my dog.
Hey, what's going
You know,
down? I'm excited. I'm excited. I think I'm just as excited to be on the show with you.
I
Thank you
don't
very
know.
much.
I don't know.
Yeah.
See, you have up leveled my whole game just because of who you are and my
Oh,
association with you. So I'm excited to have you here. I'm excited for what it is that you're doing.
thank
Um,
you.
some of the things that you've done have really impressed me, but one of the things that's really impressed me is the give back and the philanthropy, and we'll talk about that. Your heart,
Yeah.
what you're doing,
I'll get
you are.
emotional too. So you're gonna see a raw me. Like I'm not afraid to cry either. So if I get emotional, that's just me. So
I love it.
just letting
And
you
you're
know.
from my hometown. You're from
Mhm.
LA originally, because I remember your story. You're from Southern Cal.
Yep.
You've been in San Jose for a long time. That's my hometown. And you went from like a latchkey kid to gang life to being a millionaire by 25.
Yeah.
Wow. Like that that is those are three very, very distinguished. Well, from latchkey kid to gang banger, that is kind of like given, right? Going from gang banger to millionaire by 25 and then
Yeah.
on track to be a billionaire with a B is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about it. I want to talk about tell us about who you are, because a lot of people, they don't know who you are, but they're really excited to hear.
So right now there's on Netflix. I'm sure that some people have made some time. There's a documentary called LA Originals. So that's
Hmm.
kind of like the background. I grew up in Highland Park, which is a barrio next to Boyle Heights, gang infested, drug infested. I mean, I live with a single mom and a younger sister. So, I'm a kid from the streets. I went to school because that was kind of like daycare or like that's just really what it was for me. It's not, but at the same time, I still believe that I needed some structure in my life. And at a young age, I got into the nightlife scene at 15, 16 years old. I was going to these teen clubs in Pasadena, it was called Maryland's Backstreet. And I fell in love with just kind of being out there. And then I got my break. You haven't read my book yet, but I've just published a book, and it's called Smoke and Mirrors. And we talk about where I got my first start and how I started, and then from Southern California, being in the nightclub scene and throwing some of the biggest parties in LA, and then moving to the Bay Area, and then getting really kind of starting from scratch and bringing that LA vibe, that feel to San Francisco and then San Jose. And then I really just started to flourish. So I got accepted to San Jose State and San Francisco State. So
Wait a minute, you went wait, 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 wait. You went from
yeah,
gang banging to get
yeah.
accepted to college?
Yeah, no, it was crazy, and
Wow.
I barely made it out of high school. I ended up getting the counselors. They just had us apply, and I applied. I applied myself. I knew that I wanted to do more in life.
You were a smart
I
gang banger.
Yeah, what? It's crazy. So growing up in the streets, so it was. I got to see a lot of crazy gangs, and I was associated with a lot of the people down there. I was never actually in one,
Okay.
but I got to see them, and I got to be around them, and I knew a lot of the big gangs. I mean, you're talking about Avenues, 18th Street, White Fence. I mean, you're talking about Mara Salvatrucha. I mean, these are big old school, like, big gangs in LA, and being around that as a kid, and it's easy to get lured into that lifestyle, if you don't, if I don't know. God was with me, man. He had a different path for me, so he took me away from it, and my mom wanted more for us too. So from Highland Park, we ended up moving to a smaller city called South Pasadena, which is a very predominantly white and Asian community, and which is cool. And I was probably one out of the eight Latinos that went to the junior high there. There was probably like 10 African Americans that were in that middle school,
Sounds like
and
my elementary.
huh?
Sounds like my elementary school in San
Yeah,
Jose.
so it was crazy, but you know what? My mom wanted more for us, and then I just and I played sports too. So I played soccer, baseball. I mean, I ran track. I was very athletic at a young age, but I think one of my biggest drives was I was just tired of being poor.
Mm.
I didn't like the fact that I'd ask my mom for certain things, like, like shoes. That's kind of where I started my first business. I wanted a pair of Air Jordans, but my mom wasn't going to spend $150, $200 for a pair of tennis shoes.
Yeah.
So I went around the neighborhood, and that's really when I found that entrepreneur spirit in me. I started going around the neighborhood washing cars, and the gimmick that I used was, and it was crazy because I didn't even think, I don't know how it even came to me, but it just happened, was basically, I looked for the bigger cars because I feel that at the bigger cars I could charge more money. So I would look around, I would actually look for trucks. And then I would go to the people, I knock on the door and I say, hey, I'd be interested in washing your car. And if you like it, it's $20. If you don't like it, you don't have to pay me. So, you got this 15, 16-year-old kid walking around the neighborhood.
And nobody's not going to pay a 15 or 16-year-old kid, right?
So I mean, but there was some people that were, you'd be interested to see, the human behavior. But I was just out, instead of being out on the streets, and that was kind of, I think, where it was, is that I didn't want to be in the streets living that destructive lifestyle. So I was trying to find ways without having to get into like the street, of drug dealing and all that, the hustle. I found other ways to do it so that I can, be positive more. I was already growing up in a very dark and very negative environment. So I wanted to do better for myself. So I just found that I found that making money was what I liked. And
let me ask you about that though, because so many people do get caught up. Exactly the same story as you, right?
Yeah.
So exactly, single mother in the hood, in gang infested territories.
Yeah.
They get sucked in. How did you not so not just I know you had an entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah.
I know you didn't want to before. Were there things that your mom did particularly like this? Did she teach you something? What was that thing that said, I'm not going to make this choice to do that?
It was my mindset. I think
that early.
Yeah, I just realized that seeing a lot of the violence, and being that I was this young kid, I was a good-looking young kid, so I was kind of like that pretty boy that didn't want to get my hands dirty, but if I had to, I would have.
Didn't want to get that face messed up.
Yeah, I didn't want to. I didn't. Yeah, and it was just, for me, it was just mindset. It was I saw the violence. I saw people getting killed at a young age. I saw that I also grew up in an era where say no to drugs was such a big thing, that we're ingraining that in our head as a kid. So
right.
There was that fear factor in, and I just knew that being that my mom was already struggling, I didn't want to struggle anymore. And I think that's really.
But you didn't think that okay, I can sell these drugs and make some fast money, so me and my mom won't have to. You didn't think long term. You thought of the bigger picture. Well, I don't. What you mean to tell me that you were born with this mindset?
No. So I'll tell you. I think what my path was is that I saw nightlife at a young age, so I fell in love with the nightlife, which is the glitz and the glamour part of it. But at a young age, I saw a lot of things. Use drugs, alcohol, all kinds of crazy stuff at a young age. And I saw it, but that wasn't the attraction for me. The attraction was, how can I grow and make money out of this? What is, I know that the streets were very short-lived. Like I said, I saw a lot of young people die at a young age. Kids that got into gangs that were getting their ass kicked, at a young age. And that just wasn't attracting to me. It wasn't calling my attention. And the other part was that at a young age, for some reason, I was always attracted to older people in my life. So I got to be around older people that kind of guided me. Again, the universe had an interesting path for me. The God had an interesting path for me. And I'm blessed in that way. And I'm glad that I didn't go down that route, because could I have gone down that route? Absolutely, 100%. No question about it.
But here's what I want to take from that really quick, Mauricio, and I'm sorry for interrupting you. But people don't realize, especially us.
This is your show. You can do whatever you want. So I'm following your lead. So you do whatever you want.
We are now, me and you are the same age. We're elders now, right? So you having that, you saying that, those elders pouring into you, that changed you. That was part of the things that kind of helped you along the way. And I want people to understand, especially people in our generation, how important it is for us as elders to be reaching back, looking back to those young people, those youngsters that are coming up, instead of saying, you know what, they ain't listening. They're hard headed. They're whatever. Somebody's pouring into them anyway. Because even if they're hard headed, even if you don't think that they're listening, or even if you don't think that they will listen, they will speak life into them anyway. And so you are a living witness that is so important for us as elders, because we're the elders now for us to do. Yeah.
Good looking elders. Good looking.
Come on, man.
Elders.
Come on. So I want to shout out to a few people online really quick. We have a full house today. Marquita, she said, "Wow." Nicole Pearson, she said, "Dang, I have a couple of friends that must have been two of those in South Pasadena. The 10 Black folks that went to your high school." Angela said hi. Katrina said hi. Brandy said hi. Glenda said hi. Sam said Sam said Temple. So I guess that's an LA thing.
Temple. Yeah. He went to Temple City, or he lived in Temple, or he went to Temple High School. So
okay. Yeah. Taisha said, "Woohoo! I made it on." Marquita said, "That's a huge blessing. Seeing someone that comes from the ground up, testimonies, blessed, inspiration." Chanel loves it. Brandy loves it. Nakia said, "Hey," and folks are still logging on. So again, for the people just logging on, I want to introduce you to my boy Mauricio, who is the godfather of nightlife in San Jose. And we're gonna talk about that in a minute. We're just kind of. He said you guys are from the same hood. That's cool. Sam said you guys are from the same hood.
Highland Park. So I grew up in Highland Park. So yeah. So if he's from there or South Pasadena, that Pasadena area, then we probably cross paths. So.
No, and he's right around our age as well. Cool. But so let's get back on track. So when did you actually move from Southern Cal to the Bay Area?
1993.
Year before you graduated. You graduated in 93 or before? Yeah,
94. So I ended up finishing high school up here in the Bay Area. I went to El Cerrito High School on the East Bay. So I had an interesting experience, and it's in my book. You'll read about it. But I ended up in San Francisco literally by accident. I went through a crazy experience. We had lost everything. We went homeless when going through high school. My mom was in a toxic relationship, and when she broke up out of that toxic relationship, we lost everything. So literally, my mom couldn't afford to keep us. We got evicted out of our place. So I ended up moving with a friend of mine's family in Monrovia, and they lived up in the hills. I mean, the father was a movie editor. He, if you remember Star Search, the TV show. Yeah. So I used to work in the back studio of Star Search. I started to learn editing at a young age, movie editing and film editing and stuff. I did actually a couple little short films when I was living in LA. And the son, he was like a good friend of mine, and we went to junior high and then high school together. We played sports together. The only problem, white kid, white family, privileged, I don't even want to use those kind of terms, but hey, he had it good, but he got caught up in drugs at a young age. So I remember, going not only going to being in the nightclub scene, going out every weekend. I was also I had signed up for a cadet program with LA County Sheriffs. So I was a cadet going through their academy. And one weekend I was coming back from my academy. It was on Saturdays, and the kid was just on one. And him and his father were arguing, and he knocked out his dad, and it was just crazy. And I remember that this kid started calling me names. You spick, wetback. Just calling me really like nasty names. And I was already down and out. I think that to get kicked while you're down and out, it was just really it was hurtful. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna take this motherfucker out. Excuse me for hey, I'm gonna drop some F-bombs in here,
Let's keep it real, buddy.
But I'm gonna, I come from the streets, and I'm not gonna let some punk ass kid on drugs try to punk me and try to talk some shit. So I literally, and we're athletes, so I ran upstairs to my room, and I grabbed a baseball bat. True story. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take this guy out because I'm already in pain. I don't need to be reminded of the pain. And I just say, I'm gonna take this dude out. So I remember him coming up, and I heard him. It was almost like a true movie. I can hear the creaking of his steps coming up, and I remember I cocked the bat so just ready. Ready to just take this dude's head out. And he opened up the door, flicked the light on, and I swear I've never saw a white boy turn so white, so much white. He turned pale. And I remember that when he looked at me, he knew that it was over. And I remember that I dropped the bat and and I literally I like tensed up. I dropped the bat. I started to cry, and I left the house running, probably about a mile and a half to the nearest payphone. And literally, I don't know how I remembered my cousin's number in San Francisco, but I called my cousin collect from a payphone. Back then the days there used to be payphones on the street. So I called my cousin collect, and literally the following week I ended up in the Bay Area.
Wow.
Had I gone through with that impulse, that moment, I probably wouldn't be here today.
Change your,
Um,
change your
yeah,
whole life. Yeah.
so that was really a pivotal change in my life. Not only from being broke, growing up in the streets, not having the things, but wanting more in life. That
Yeah.
was really what fueled me. That's my fuel. Constance, I
Yeah.
wake up every day like I'm fired up. I have to be a self starter because, I was told, Shireen, Shireen Rivera. She says one day I was complaining to her. She says, "Look, man," she kept it real with me. She says, "You wanted to be a billionaire, you're gonna have billionaire problems. You wanted to be a millionaire, you're gonna have millionaire problems. If you
Right.
want more in life, it comes with problems. It comes with more. If you want it, you got to work your ass for it. It doesn't just you don't wake up one day and unless you're lucky, you wake up one day and there's a box of money, and even if you had a box of money, you'll burn through it if you're not disciplined or if you don't know how to invest or spend it or and that was really what life was teaching me was teaching me the disciplines, and how much can I take. And I think
Yeah.
that when I ended up moving to the Bay Area, then getting into perfecting my skill of nightclubs and parties in LA, being in an area that I saw a lot of opportunity. Now, when I moved to the Bay Area, I lived in San Francisco for my first year, finished high school, and then I moved to Richmond. I lived with another cousin of mine, and while I was going through there, my cousin's very into education, so he's like, "Hey, you need to apply for school. You need to apply." So part of my counseling and part of the school, so I applied for 4 universities. I applied for Stanford, Cal, San Jose State, and San Francisco State. At the time, I was playing baseball and football. I thought maybe I could get a scholarship. I was again thinking big. None of that happened, and I just, so I got accepted into both San Francisco State and San Jose State. And then I remember coming to San Jose to come party back in the day. There used to be some, Paradise Beach. There used to be the old Studio 47. And then I was doing some parties already down here. I fell in love with San Jose. I love the weather too. And it just reminded me of LA. So it was kind of like little LA to me. So I took the offer for San Jose State, and I ended up moving to San Jose back in 1996. So
What you're
um,
saying, it really reminds me that every single thing that we go through is for our good and it's for our benefit. You had
absolutely,
to go through what you went through with your friend. First of all, you were able to see a whole nother side of life that you probably weren't accustomed to, but then you
yeah,
were able to see the ugly side too of what you never ever want to go through. Because I think God was giving you a glimpse of
yeah,
the opportunities that you were going to be afforded to, right?
oh,
He's going to give you a glimpse to the kind of money that you were going to be able to make at some point. But
yeah,
here's what you don't want. Here's what you
right,
don't want for your child, right? So everything that you went through in life, being homeless, the surroundings and the moving and seeing your mom and what she went through, all
yeah,
of those were for your good because you would not be the person that you are today,
yeah.
have all the ambition that you do today if you had not walked the path that you walked.
Absolutely. It gets even juicier. So, I moved to San Jose. I do 3 years of college at San Jose State. On my fourth year, I decided I'm going to quit. I just quit school. I got one more year left, and I'm like, you know what?
Wow.
I'm in debt. I don't love school. I don't. My last. I was on some of my upper division classes, and I remember this lady walking in. She was so sloppy with just the way she was organized. And I was like, this person is going to teach me how to make money. I'm already making money. I was already driving an $80,000 car, going to college, and I had my own house. I had my own fraternity house. It was like I
Wow.
just it was crazy. I was in a fraternity too at San Jose State. I was a Theta Chi. Um, but it was and even with that, just all those experiences, I just said, you know what? I made a decision. And that's part of my mantra is you have to make a decision. Once you make a decision, you have to commit to your decision. And once you commit to your decision, you got to execute. Because A decision without commitment, or a decision and a commitment without execution, is nothing. It's just a plan. Like all behind your board, you have all these different ideas and thoughts and stuff. If you don't apply those with some action, that all they're going to be is just thoughts on that blackboard. So for me, it's what are you going to do with this? Like, what are you going to do with like the money? So yeah, at 25, being in the nightlife, I made my first million. I was like, damn, like it was crazy to like, and when you make your first million, you're like, huh? It's like when you sell, you've made millions already because you sell real estate. You understand you're making money. You're already a multimillionaire. You're dealing with millions. You're not playing with pennies. You're playing with big dollars, and you're playing with big lives and people's decisions. So when I made my first million, I had the Vault Ultra Lounge was my first nightclub, and like my first own truly upscale Ultra Lounge in San Jose. I was already involved in other nightclubs. I had already done big concerts, and I was big in the at 25, yeah. And then at 28, I was making 3 to 4 million. Had a Ferrari 360 Spider, red on tan. I was living the dream. I had a beautiful loft in Japantown with a 350-gallon saltwater fish tank with a baby black tip shark. They're illegal, first of all. So I have a black tip. It looked like a little great white shark.
Wow!
I remember
I could imagine what this crib looked like. I could imagine.
It was beautiful. It's in Japantown. There's these old pickle factories that they turn into lofts. So I had like these 15-foot high ceilings, beautiful concrete floor. I mean, it was just beautiful. And I'm single, and I'm just living life, and
pretty boy. I mean, you just had to go on.
I'm living on top of the world. I'm thinking, and here's where it gets crazy, because now I'm living a life of excess. I grew up poor with nothing. I start to learn success, and the little failures or the bumps that we have in our lives, I don't look at them as failures where they cripple me. These are just little bumps in the road that teach me more and more in life. But what I realize is that as I'm making all this money, all this success, I mean, it's just crazy. You can only eat steak and lobster so much before that even kills you too. I had 3-4 cars, I had motorcycles, I had toys, I had all the you just silly stuff. I had real estate, and I was invested in real estate. I was doing real estate at the same time. So I tell people, I'm like, I was Bruce Wayne during the day and Batman at night, because literally I was doing real estate and deals during the day, and then at nighttime I had my nightclub. And really, my nightclub was my platform. Now, I mean, these are all platforms. A nightclub or a restaurant they're platforms where you can invite people and break bread with them, have a good time. I made more money with deals that I was, by having them come to my bar or my club outside than there, because there was the entertainment. That's where I lured people in, and they loved the glitz and the glamour and the excitement. And then then we would close deals. So again, young guy making all this money. I'm 2008. Let me see. 2008 is
so we were like 28. Wait.
That was 28, 29, 30. I was already 32. 32. Yeah. So I was crushing it.
Yeah.
32 years old. I mean, I'm just crushed. I laugh now because I'm like, wow, it was a fun time. And then being in real estate, I was able to see trends, and being in the nightclub business, because I'm watching people spend money every week. So what I realized was that fourth quarter of 2006, I saw a dip. And I knew something was going to crash because everybody started doing those bad loans, those negative AM loans.
Yeah, I remember. I was in the business.
Thank God for me, I never got into that mortgage side. I was always I'm a land development guy. I'm a real estate negotiator. I never got into that. I knew that it didn't feel right, because I saw the people that shouldn't be in homes, not because they shouldn't, because that's the dream to have a home, but because they couldn't afford to have a home. They didn't have the financial awareness or the skill set. Not that I was Mr. Smarty Pants over here too, because I was making so much money, but as much money that was coming in was going out too, because I thought it was forever. I thought it was the pot of gold forever. Yeah, and then 2007 came around, things started to slow down, and then 2008 kicked in. I started to see more notice of, or actually in 2007, I saw more notice of defaults. And then by July of 2007, I started to see notices of foreclosure at a very high rate. So I'm looking at trends, and then my nightclub business is starting to go down. So you have your fixed expenses and you have your income. So what happens is when your income starts to drop, you're like, man, what's going on? And you're doing the same thing. And the world is changing. But the minute that your income becomes the same level of your fixed expenses, you're kind of teetering now. It's kind of like the alarms are starting to ring. The minute you go below your fixed expenses, you're in trouble now.
Yeah.
So, and with any business, if you can't operate or service your cost of operations or your expenses, you got to really you got to retool yourself. You got to look at your numbers, just like when you do your real estate, your investments. You got to look at what's my return on investment. We all want the 20% investment, but if we're making 12 to 15% return, then you're in a good spot. 18 to 22 is my favorite area to be in, and that's the kind of businesses that I like. Every once in a while, we'll hit a 30%er, and then we're like, whoo.
Even better. Beautiful.
But so then 2008 hit, and Constance, I'm gonna tell you that was painful because the world turned upside down. You had the financial crash, you had real estate crash. Nobody can afford. Now the true colors of people were coming out. All the ballers, all the guys that they used to come out in Ferraris, Lamborghinis. I mean, even myself. Like, this is now where the swamp is being drained. Like, you heard that. This is like where. This is how like the Bernie Madoffs got caught, because all this fluff that they created, when the money dries up, like what we're going through right now, that's when this is when you really see who's made of what. And 2008, and I'm not ashamed of this, because that was part of the title in Smoke and Mirrors, was I went from living in a badass loft, $350,000 car, I mean, just craziness, making over like literally at that time, I was making over $4 million at that time. I was already making, my club was killing it. I was diversifying in real estate. I mean, my commissions on real estate were $30,000 to $40,000 a month in just commissions, I mean, and that was back then. I was like, on top of my nightclub. So easily, I mean, just crushing it. That 1 year alone in 2006, actually 2005, we sold over 350 properties. That year alone, I made $9 million. Crazy. Yeah, crazy. And then to see that, so that the stuff that's happening, and I had a badass team. I had 4 transaction coordinators just handling my production, just on my team, because that's how bad we were. I mean, it's funny because I shared it with Chandra. I told Chandra, Chandra, I said, I love your powerhouse name. And I said, I'm going to tell you something. I go, I never wanted to kind of like take away from you, because I love you and I respect you so much, and I believe in what you do. I said, but the name of my team was called Powerhouse Team. In real estate, we were a powerhouse team. So like I get chills like when I see Chandra, just the energy that she puts into what she does, and if she's watching, hey, shout out to you, because
shout out to Chandra. I know
she's an amazing human being. But yeah, I mean, we're just, so then 2008 comes, and it's just like a tailspin. You're just like, you get into a tailspin when you lose control of the controls, if that makes any sense, So when you lose control of the controls, now you're navigating in the dark, and that's really what happened. So 2008, August 8th of 2008. So
8/8/08.
Yes.
What happened?
It's in my book.
Wait. Everybody's at their seats right now, because we're like, whoa, wait, what's gonna happen in 2008? And before he tells you what's gonna happen, and a lot of folks are share this, because everybody needs to hear this. This is a story of rise to success, hard fall, because the bigger they are, the harder they fall.
No, get ready. No, it gets dark right now. It gets dark. We're not even there yet. 2008.
August. She got her tea. I got my tea. We're here for it.
Hey, August 8th of 2008, I filed for a bankruptcy for the company. We didn't owe any vendors any money, but because remember I talked about once you get below your fixed expenses, you're now in a snowball effect. Yeah. The shit's hitting the fan, and you have no controls. There's no money. People are not spending like they used to, and your cost of living is X amount. I mean, honestly, the cost of living for me was stupid. $15,000 to $20,000 a month, just in car payments, house payments, and living. My fish tank alone, just to get it, it had to get custom cleaned because it was a custom tank. You couldn't just like, it had to get serviced. That shit alone was $1,000 a month just to get it serviced. I mean, it was
You're just
crazy.
excess
Yeah, no. Excess life. It's you know what though?
times
I
10.
look back and I don't regret it one bit. I
Absolutely
lived it. I
not.
done it. You know, we so during the right before all that stuff. I mean, we were going. It was Thursday, Friday, Saturdays at the club. Sunday, first flight in the morning, we'd jump to go to Vegas, and then we'd come back on Tuesday, and then we start. We Wednesday was our rest day, and then we start again Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then boom. So we were living fat. I mean, and it was
So mad
fun. It was.
I didn't know you back then. I'm so mad. We could have been kicking it.
Woo. Well, you know what though? I'm gonna tell you something, and this is true. Like I said, I'm gonna be very raw. There's a pre 2008 Mauricio, and there's a post 2008 Mauricio. So for me, 2008, I lost everything. Prior to all that, I was a jerk. I seriously, I was such a jerk. I was so arrogant. I was so full of myself that it was so ugly. I was overweight too. I didn't take care of myself. I mean, I'm telling you, you can only eat so much rich food before it starts to kill you too.
Yeah.
You know, I had just launched my detox Sundays, pool parties at the Hiltons, at the DoubleTree. So not only was I dominating the nightlife, I was dominating the day parties. I mean, I was living fat. And then 2008 came, and when I had to file for bankruptcy, there was an attorney. His name is Charles Logan. I'll never forget him. Badass dude, African American dude. He was from here, San Jose. He dealt with a lot of professional athletes. He was a big 49er fan. I go in an emergency. He says it's going to cost you $20,000 to do this bankruptcy. I'm like,
this was a business bankruptcy.
Yeah, this is business bankruptcy. $20,000 retainer. That's just a retainer. That's not what it costs.
Chapter 11.
Yeah, Chapter 11 reorganization, and I'm like, where am I going to find this money? I'm like, I'm broke. So we scramble, we borrow the money. I take them $20,000 in cash, in a bag. Drop the 20. It's not a lot. They're two little small stacks of 10,000, but it's in cash, and you take it to an attorney. He's looking at you like, what the heck?
Somebody said, "Woo!" over there.
Yeah. So the crazy part though is that one day, literally, like he puts us into bankruptcy. They freeze everything so that we don't lose our money to pay our payroll, and we can operate. Now we're in a protected situation. Obama gets elected in November of 2008. So the world is kind of like changing. You know, we're I'm excited for the change. I mean, there's hope now, right? There's hope. No, man, it gets worse.
Right.
April 4th of 2009. I'll never forget the day. That real estate was doing the cash for keys, key for your house, and I lost everything because I lost my business. I couldn't save it. There was no money. People were, the world was up. We're going now into a depression. The world, 2008, 9, and 10 were the worst. Nobody wanted to spend money. They didn't have money. Everybody was losing their home. So it's either food for their families or going out and partying. So it was the priorities shifted.
Right.
So what happens? I lose my home. I lost my. I mean, I remember when my Ferrari got put on a flatbed and got taken away. I was like, but I had to start letting go of things, and that's really what became the change in my life, because I didn't allow the material things to control me. Because what I started to realize was that by holding on, you get sick. You get stress, and stress kills. Stress causes cancer. Stress causes illness in our bodies, period. No, it's proven. So I started, if it wasn't the money, losing the money that was going to kill me, it was the stress that was going to kill me. Now, I knew that I came from nothing, and I knew that I've been poor once. I made it. Now, this is where you really get tested. I lost everything. I literally became homeless in 2009, April 4th of 2009. I became homeless. I had literally given away all my furniture, given away my fish tank, given away everything because I didn't have anywhere to go. All I did, I still have it, believe it or not, I have it in my spare room. I have a basket that I talk about in my book where I packed what was necessary. My shoes were on the bottom first, socks, underwears, and then I put a towel over so that my socks and my underwears don't touch my clothes. Like I'm weird like that. Like I'm like, even when I wash clothes, I'm just very meticulous about the way I take care of my things. And then I would put a towel over so that no one could see. And I remember that literally I packed it all in. And at the time I had a cargo van, and I lost everything. Literally homeless. Uh,
No
everything.
Ferrari, no
Everything, everything,
house.
everything. The club, we ended up shutting down the club in 2000. We ended up selling it, and not really selling, giving it away in bankruptcy in 2009, 10. I had already the lease was, I signed it in 2003. I opened in 2004, and then by 2009, I had already made all my money back. But life was just changing, and I basically, we're going through what we're going through somewhat today. It's different what we're going through today, and this is what I'll get to, is that I lost everything, literally homeless, zero money. I had $40 to my account from making all these millions. I had $40 in my account, and $40 is what I had for gas money to get me to LA. The car that I had, it was 300 miles, and I knew that $40 would give me a full tank, and I ended up going to my sister's house. And I literally, after I had a
From
couple of,
San Jose to LA in a
yeah,
cargo van on a
yeah,
$40 gas.
$40. Actually, by that time, I had already my cargo van had got repoed already too. No, it's just so much craziness. 2008, 9, and 10 were bananas for me. Bananas. I mean, I literally,
You
the only
made
thing,
$9 million in 2005.
yeah,
$40 in your bank account in
that's
2008.
it. That's it. That's it. So, and it's crazy because now I have $40, but you know what's more important that I have is that I have my mindset and my sanity. That
Yeah.
I knew that if I did it once, I could do it again. I
Yes.
came, and that's what. So I had to take myself, and this is when we talk about mindset. You got to take yourself to those pressure points, those pain points I said earlier, and you got to really think to yourself, okay, I've been here before. Now
Mm-hmm.
it's, how do you navigate out of these waters? You have experience now? That's what, these gray hairs. This is wisdom, right?
Yeah.
That's wisdom. That's experience. When the younger generation, we try to explain to them, hey, one day you're gonna blah 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 blah. We keep repeating it, and then eventually they'll learn because they'll experience it in life. You can't teach someone what they don't know if they haven't experienced it. So I've dealt with all this big money, and I've dealt with these big people, and relationships is important too. You got to have credibility. You got to have integrity. You got to be honest with people. You can't bullshit your way through life, because it'll catch up. Bottom line, it'll catch up. There, it just will.
So Mauricio,
So
let me ask you this though, because
yeah,
I know you said, I mean, you weren't this high, you were like astronomically high to go all the way to the bottom. And
yeah.
so you mean to tell me that, okay, I'm at the bottom and Lord, okay, I hit the bottom, now I can just get back up. How long did you stay down before it took you to, like, okay, get your bearings, get your mind, because that's a lot to go from, it's one thing, I made $100,000 and I ain't got a dime to my pocket. I made $75,000 and now I don't have a dime. But to make $9 million in 1 year and go to $40 in your pocket, how long did you stay down before?
So, I ended up going to my sister's house, and I quarantined myself, literally quarantined like crazy. That we're kind of going through this right now, and I'm going through a similar experience right now. So I quarantined myself in a 10 by 10 room. I remind myself that growing up as a kid, we were in a 10 by 10 apartment, infested with cockroaches, poor. We just didn't have. At times, we went to bed hungry because my mom didn't have enough to feed us. So I reminded myself of all that pain that I went through at a young age, and I told myself, I had a whiteboard. I love whiteboards, and I like to draw. I'm a very visual person. It's either paper and pen, or it's on a whiteboard, because I got to be visual. I got to visually stimulate my mindset, my mind. Like, boom, I love colors. I love creating. So I write out my plan, and I remember my nephew was in the room, and I wrote on my board. I wrote, what year was it? 2010. So 2011, 12, I ended up moving to the Bay Area, back to San Jose, because I opened up Chacho's, the Mexican restaurant, January 19th of 2013.
Chacho's is the mom, by the way. I think I was out there in 2013. That's the first time I think I went to Chacho's.
Yeah, there. So that's when it was
If you guys never been to Chachos in San Jose, downtown San Jose, Mauricio
yeah.
is the owner of Chachos.
Yeah, one of the partners over there. We have two of them. George Sanchez is my business partner. He's the one. He's the mastermind behind that, and he was going through some crazy stuff during that time too. But for me, it's like I actually what I started to see and learn more was that I got energized by helping others. That actually gave me more like no different than like a party. I enjoyed the what I enjoyed about doing a big party or a concert or having a successful event is seeing the smile and the enjoyment that others get. So that makes me feel good inside. Like I have an idea, and if my idea, if it fruitions and it's successful, and people have a good time, that's all that matters to me. That's what fulfills me. Like
Right.
so,
Yeah,
I help my friend. Yeah, I helped my friend George. Get out of a bad partnership deal. We reopened up Chachos in downtown where it belongs. But again, that wasn't enough for me. I wanted more in my life because I knew that I was destined for more. So going back to when I moved to LA and I wrote my plan, I wrote a
So
plan.
2 years? Did you say 2 years from 2009 to 2011 is how long
So
you're
I was homeless for about 2.5 years. So I was 2009, 10, 11, part of 12. So yeah, about 2.5 years. Nobody knew. I was sleeping on inflatable mattresses. I was sleeping on the floor. I was sleeping on my friend's place. I mean, I was couch surfing. And I pack light because I didn't want to have to worry about all the baggage. So I remember that my mindset, I started to retrain myself. I started to read personal growth. I've
were
always
you
been,
reading books? Were you reading books?
so I'm not a big reader, but I love to do audiobooks and I love to do videos. Yeah. So my car became like a walking university for me, like, or a mobile university. Like instead of listening to like the latest mix or all this, I was listening to like how to get my mindset. Like I was at the time, Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. It's a great book. It's a great audio. It messes with your mindset because it hits certain grooves and certain triggers that it made me understand that I needed to quiet the noise. And that's the first thing, if you want to be successful and you want to really take yourself to the next level, you got
quiet the noise.
Yeah, quiet the noise. You gotta, and that was one of my mentors taught me. He goes, Mauricio, he goes, you're destined for more. You're destined for more, period. We see it in you. You got, at that time, so when I got back to San Jose, and let me go back, I wrote on my board 2012, 13, 14, 15, 16. I did a 5-year plan, and I wrote 150,000, 250,000, 300,000, 450,000, $500,000, and then $1 million. I visually saw myself making that money. 2012, 13, I moved back to the Bay Area. January 1st of 2014, I started a company called California Labor Force. My first year, I did $4 million. Wow. I went from 2006. We just unloaded the company last month. But we went from January 1st of 2014 to January 1st of 2020. So that gives us a 6-year run. This year we declared 100 million. And yeah, so crazy. I got into a business that I had no idea, staffing business. We went from we built one of the largest staffing companies in California. They're the first responders to all the major disasters. And what I did was, and this is what I tell people, like, if you want to build wealth, you want to become rich, you can't have the mindset of doing one business or one, if you have a job and have a side hustle. And when I mean a hustle is like, have something else. Like, we all have the same amount of time. It's how bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? People want to go buy these expensive purses or the expensive cars or they live in the beautiful. Well, how bad do you want it? And that there's people out there that go buy some dumb shit. Like, seriously, like they'll go invest in a purse that's but they can't. They're still living at home. It's like you gotta really think about what's your priorities. What is your goals? What do you want? And how bad do you want it? Period.
So I need to recap this real quick. Hold on, Mauricio, because I need folks to marinate on this real quick. So in 2008, 9, you were homeless.
Yeah.
For 2 years. Okay?
Yeah. Nobody knew it. Nobody knew it either. And that's because you don't want to let people know when you're sweating it. You gotta, it's smoke and mirrors. It's about perception. It's about, because people will judge you. People are they're mean. People are mean. We live in a cruel world, a period. That was part of my fuel growing up as a kid. I was being teased because I was wearing Pro Wings because my mom couldn't afford the shoes. But when I walked in with my Jordans, boom, what's up?
Yeah, you the man. You the man.
I'm a cool kid now.
Yeah, now you're cool.
I got the Jordans, Now it's like, now I don't flaunt it. Now I like to wear my V-neck shirts. I have little trinkets here or there that are like my gems, but I don't flaunt it. I don't need to. I don't really fucking care what people think. Whether, at the end of the day, I'm running $100 million company. My focus is to be a billionaire it was 2021. Now it's going to be delayed 2022. My goal is to be a billionaire by 2022. And it's not because it's like,
it's not even about that.
It's not even about that. No. It's for me, it's about what can I do to make an impact? And that's where it goes to like philanthropy and giving back. Like, I'm telling you, pre-2008 Mauricio, jerk. Post-2008 Mauricio, completely different. It's not about me anymore. It's about what can I give back, period. That's it. Like, I get more pleasure in giving back and partnering up with intelligent people that are driven like you. That's what motivates me. I don't want to be around people that are suckers, that are the energy suckers, Get rid of you want to be successful? Pick new friends. Surround yourself by successful people. Period.
When I met you, that's what impressed me most about you. Not the fact that you said I'm going to be the first Latino billionaire, but the fact that you talked about giving back. That impresses me more than anything. I can care less about how much money you make, but it's how much you are willing to give. Not just money, but time and your talent and the things that you treasure. Like how many people are you helping? How much change are you effectuating? If all the money, it does not matter. When you're like this, you are not in a position to receive. But when you are like this, when you're helping and you're giving, abundance comes. Abundance comes. It's the law of reciprocity.
And it was crazy because when you people like The Secret. Okay, everyone's heard of the book The Secret.
Yeah.
People don't get it. Or some people some of us get it because
somebody said that. Marquita said just like The Secret. So go ahead.
Yeah. So it clicks. What happens is that when you watch The Secret, you're like, what's the secret? What's the secret? But what you're not realizing is that the secret is about giving. The more you give, the more you'll receive. And that's the secret. There's no I don't know how to explain it. There's no big secret. You want to be successful, give more. You want to be successful, help others. You want to be like, I want to see you be successful. I want to help you. I want to do business with you because if you're successful, then I can be successful too. All of us. Right. It's like I told
out there for all of us to have.
Oh man, there's so much right now with what we're going through with this whole this crazy time that we're in. I've never seen this, but I'll tell you right now, I know what it's like to be without. So I know I can survive this. I know that I can navigate through these waters because at the end of the day, it's about negotiations. It's about keeping a strong mind, keeping yourself healthy, and balance. And balance is crazy. It's a tricky one because there is no such thing as balance. If you got a family, you got a business, you got family, it all pulls at you. So you got to be able to balance that, meaning that you got to learn how to juggle. So people ask me,
Lisa Nichols says balance is a myth.
Yeah. So I tell people, they're like, well, how is it that how are you keep yourself focused? I'll share with you. So these are secret notes right here, but I'm going to share them with you.
Here's a secret.
Right here, boom. So this stuff right here, this is my Bible. I'll read some names in here, and you'll see. So I wrote every year. I do my thing called the team. So this is the 2020 team, and I write every name of important people that are important in my life. Some people got crossed out. You asked me earlier. I thought you had somebody. Well, that person got crossed out. That person got crossed out. Why? Because it's important to have the right partner in your life. And if that's a family, or if that's either you're married or engaged or boyfriend, girlfriend, right there, red lined. Boom. That was my number 2 person. Out. And then my mentors, I had you know that I'm doing business with Stedman. Stedman is right here. He's my number 5 guy. because I'm doing stuff.
That would be Oprah's Bay, Stedman
Yeah,
Graham. Yes, Oprah's Bay. Yeah.
he's my business partner. And then what I do now is I break down all of these people. This is my Bible here. So whenever I get off track, I break down every person that I have a business with. I break down what am I doing. My partner, real estate, all my real estate deals, my investments, my investment deals, my construction company, my Stedman events, my 2020 events partnership, my chachos. I mean, I break it down. Like, you got to invest time in yourself to keep yourself organized. Why? Because if you're not organized, you can't remember everything. And I'll tell you right now, there's moments where I'm like, I get lost in my own sauce. That I'm like, all right, hey, I got to check myself. And then what I do with the red marks is those are my edits. And then what I'll do is I'll go back and I'll clean it up so that I always keep a fresh one. And I always print out. I try to do this once a week, if not at least once a month, because sometimes it becomes redundant. There's not a lot of changes, but this is my Bible. This is what keeps me focused. So I have my staffing business, my construction business, my real estate developments, my media company, and then now the stuff that I love to do, like the book, and so I have 5 forms of income. I don't believe in one. 5. You want to talk about breaking my day? I mean, one of the things that I learned, and this is from Mark Zuckerberg. They asked him a question. They say, "Hey, how'd you create this juggernaut of a company?" Time management. And people are like, time management? You're like, yeah. Not everything requires 40 hours, 80 hours a week. That stuff is a myth too. It's if you want it, you'll give it the attention until you finish it and you execute it. Then you move on to your next stuff. Once you get your base, or what I call my runway, going, then I got a long runway. And if I want to fly a 747, I need a long runway, because a short runway ain't gonna give me that. You know what I'm talking about? Like, seriously, like you gotta have a long runway. Yes. So for me, I took this company's the staffing company. We took it from $4 million the first year, doubled it, and then took it to $20 million a year. This year, like I said, it would have been $100 million. Instead, $100 million. And yeah, that's $100 million. And it's crazy because when you look at that, you're like, damn, like those are accomplishments. Like, now if I could do $100 million, I could do $1 billion.
Why can't I do $1 billion? Yes.
So I'll share with you how, like, there's the way you get to that is just by getting involved in different businesses. So my media company, you can go to latinlive.com.
Latinlive.com. Put that in the comments box. Latinlive.com.
Yeah. Or it's the website. You can Google it, and then you can go to wearelatinlive.com. And Latin Live is
WEARE Latinlive.com.
Yeah, Latin Live, LATINLIVE.
Latinlive.com.
Yeah, you go to that. That company is being showcased on Meet the Drapers show. It's like the Shark Tank, but it's the ones here in Silicon Valley. That company is going to go public. Right now, we're going through a crowdfunding through a company called Republic. You can't get on Republic unless you're invited and you're like part of the Silicon Valley elites, I guess. We are going to be the first Latino owned media company to be $1 billion company here in the Silicon Valley, period, hands down, multi-billion. So when I say billion, I'm like, so for me though, it's why, because we're giving back to our culture. We're running our company. It's kind of like FUBU, for us, by us. It was that.
That's right.
That dude made so much money.
Yeah.
And people don't know the real story behind him. They don't know that his money was Korean gangster money that got him funded. That's true story.
Wow.
Like his stuff is an amazing story. He's got an amazing background. So when you look at that and you can see that you can take someone's money and do something with it and have that kind of level of integrity and just that level of just want more, you can do it. We can all do it. Just again.
So do you use your own money when investing?
Yeah.
Or do you use other people's money?
It depends. It's a blend. There's a blend. I can use my own money to start a deal, but then when you need big reinforcements, then you go to the bigger chunks. Right now, I work with a Chinese group. They're straight out of Hong Kong right now. Big money right now. I mean, right now, I feel like I'm a lion caged in my place. Even though I got a cool spot, like it's cool, but I feel like I'm stuck, and I feel like right now, we wouldn't be dealing with this quarantine stuff. I'd be out doing deals. I'd be out, making things happen. And not that I'm not making it happen from here, but it's a different feel when you're out. You're interacting with people. We're creatures of we're interactive people. I mean, I don't know how to be a quarantine like this. This is like weird for me. I had to break away yesterday. I told you I went to the Bay yesterday, and you're invited, and the girls are invited. Everyone's invited. We'll go.
Chandra, we're
Hey,
going on the boat. We're going on the yacht.
I personally got a 42-footer. My friend's got a 68-footer, and that's mega yacht stuff. On his boat, you can put like 75 people.
We gotta play the song "Big Pimpin'" by Jay-Z too when we get on there.
Oh, hey, whatever. I don't. We'll play whatever. I just want to have a good time. Get out, and when I'm in the water, elements, like I feel at peace with myself. It allows me to think, and I want to share those moments with good people. So I'm that guy. I'm like, there's some people that say, oh, I want to be very secretive, very private. I'm like, no. You can Google me. My phone number is, my cell phone number pops up on Google. I mean, I don't care. If you're gonna call me, you're gonna have because you have the guts to call me. Two, because you know that when you call me, you're gonna have to talk to me about real business, because within the first 5 minutes, I know this is a bullshit call or it's a real call and what's up, because I really don't have time to waste. I don't, because I value my time. I value your time. I value people when we do things together. There's got to be value. We got to bring value to each other.
I think we just get on the phone and we'll talk for like 30, 45 minutes. It's not a thing, because you don't have to talk to people.
We have already burned 55 minutes, and I can still go for another hour with you. Like I'm fired up. I'm in no rush, and I got my show tonight too. I'm going to be talking at 7:00. I'm doing my live. But
wonderful. And I want everybody to go there. I want to just go through the comments real quick, because everybody is like, we got a lot of comments, a lot of interaction. Good. And everybody is loving your story.
Ask questions. If people want to ask questions, like hard questions
too.
I want people to know that, look, you want to make money, you want to be real business, you want to do real business, surround yourself with real people. Cut all the bullshit out of your life and be serious about it, because we only live once. I tell you right now, we only live once. And God forbid that we get sick or something happens to us or we're not here tomorrow. We got to take advantage of the time that we have while we're here. At the end of the day, I'm not going to be here forever.
A couple of things that you said, though, that really resonate is everybody has the same amount of time. That's everybody has 24 hours in a day that they can do whatever that they need, whatever they wanted to do. You got to shift your mindset. You got to be an activator. You got to just do it. You got to stop hanging out with what somebody said the other day. I think it was George Fraser. You got to stop majoring in minor people. I mean, we just have to change the people that we are around, and we have to start doing things differently. And you also said that we need multiple revenue streams. And I preach this, and I preach this, and I preach this. If you are working a job, you will never be rich. If you are just doing one thing, even if you have your own business, having your eggs all in that one basket, and what happens when you had your eggs in multiple baskets and they all.
Hey, perfect example. You're right. I had the nightclub business and I had the real estate business. There's no way that I thought that both were going to go down at the same time.
Right.
They were both going up, and then all of a sudden the real estate went down. I was like, oh, no worries, no big deal. I'm still making money. And then all of a sudden this started going down. I was like, whoa, time out. What happened here? Then they both went down. Game over. So then, I told myself, I will never, ever, ever allow myself to be put in this position ever again, period. Hands down, no questions. I have a saying that I say to myself when I get really, like right now, I get in the zone. Nothing or no one will get in the way of my success, period.
Right.
Nothing or no one will get in the way of my success.
Period.
Hands down. When I had my
and I want you to do period with a T on it.
When I had my significant other that I thought was going to be the one for me, I remember I even changed it up. I said, nothing or no one will get in the way of our love or our success, period. So I made it about us. And then that fell apart. And then I realized the day that I realized it is when I was going to publish my book, right there, Smoke and Mirrors. I'm going to send you a copy. My son, I have a 15-year-old son, and he says to me, he goes, hey, Dad, he goes, I can't wait to read your book. And I said, oh, son, don't worry. It's going to come out soon. I'm going to give it to you. And his mom, which is the person that I thought we were going to have a pretty – we've known each other for so long. Finally, we said, you know what, let's make this thing happen. Started the new year off right. There was a lot of beautiful energy going on. But she broke my heart. And she didn't break my heart because she did something bad, but it really showed her colors. I said, you're going to love reading my book. And what comes out of her mouth? She goes, I'm not going to read that garbage. I'm not going to read that garbage. And I said to myself, I'm like,
Garbage, really?
so to me, that's what got the red pin. And I said, done, done. So for me, I'm like, this book right here is going to turn into a movie. Is going to turn into a series. We've already started working on the second book. It's called Smoke and Mirrors, Still Standing. And I've already written my second book, which is called Decide, Commit, Execute. We haven't published it yet, but that's the cover right there. And Kristen Andress, the lady right here, that's Stedman's right hand person. She's the one that wrote a couple of his books. So she wrote a book with me, and we're almost done with this. Well, we're done with it. We just got to get it published now. So I'm not playing around. I'm not playing around.
Raylene says she gets the red pen. the significant other says she gets the red pen. That's what Raylene Miller said.
Yeah. Hey, and this goes out to everybody out there though too. It's like everyone has to do a self-analysis of themselves and who's around them. And sometimes that hard decision is your partner. Your partner. If your partner does not support you, then you need to make changes in your life. Period. I know it sounds.
Well, Mauricio, maybe she was just having a bad day. Maybe she really didn't mean it.
Well, no, because she's very opinionated. And I said, wow. I said, really? I said, you sure you don't want to read it? No, I'm not going to read that garbage. I don't want to know about your craziness. And I'm like, you don't even know. It took me 2 years to write this book, and you don't really know what's in it. If you actually took time and really stepped back and said, you know what, let me learn, let me really analyze and see who is Mauricio. What is Mauricio about? She only seen the success side. She's never seen the down and dirty side. So when we had our son, I was lit. That's part of what I call my it was part of my crazy lifestyle. I was very.
Wait. So where was she at when you were homeless?
Not around. No, not around. I don't want to even get into her crazy life, her stuff, because I don't like to air out people's business. But it was such a crazy situation in my life that, really, like. So for me, I just realized I'm like, this is the person that I want to commit myself for the rest of my life. And yet you only want to be around when the good times are happening or when, it's all there, instead of, hey, pick up the book and read about me and understand that it wasn't all what you think it is, and not only that, you want to live in a nice place. You want to have a nice car. You want to have nice things. It takes commitment. It takes hard work. It takes focus. It takes a lot of energy. And if your partner cannot support that, or you can't support your partner, then you need to do self-analysis of yourself, period. And really think of what's really important to you. What do you really want in life? Bottom line. And sometimes these things that I want them to not hurt people, but I want them to really just like hit that core, hit that gut, and really think about like, man, if we really want to make it in life, we want to do some big things. We gotta take it to the next level.
Yeah. So, well, let me ask you a question. Yeah. So
I can talk. I'm like, I get fired up.
You got us on you got us all on the edge of our seats, and I'm telling you, there's everybody's interacting. There's a lot of interaction going on over here.
I wish I could see it. I can't see it on my side, or maybe is it on live comment?
I think you might be able to. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, wow.
They're just kind of punctuating. What you're saying. Sophia wants to know where she can order the book. Is it on Amazon?
Yeah, it's on Amazon.
Okay, go to Amazon, and the name is Smoke and Mirrors.
You can do the Kindle for 99 cents, or you can buy the book for $19. I mean, whatever you feel that, invest.
Get that hardback.
And if they want it, they can actually go to my website and order it on mauriciomejia.com. And then then that comes directly to me, and then I sign the book, and then I send it out. So on Amazon.
Ooh, that's who got the red line on the list. Yeah. We know who got the red line on the list.
Yeah, no, I'm single too, by the way.
That's that. Commitment, hard work, and discipline, and the right partnership is huge. You accomplished so much, Mauricio, and I know $1 billion is on your vision board. You have a vision board? I know you said you visualize everything. You have a vision board. Is it written down on your board?
I do. It's my house is set up like office setup too, but I have a vision board. I have the homes that I want to have. I have the first thing that I had on my vision board was 2 hearts, and the hearts represented love. Stedman told me, and he practiced. He in his talks he says, in order to lead others, you must learn to lead yourself first, right? In order to love others, you must learn to love yourself first.
Period.
That's deep. That's deep. I mean, that guy's been with Oprah. That guy's been with Oprah for 30 plus years. There's magic there. There's and we've had some. He's shared some very deep conversations with me, and the man is just. I remember the last time we had our event and we talked in LA. I did 1,000 kids in the morning. We did 1,000 kids. We did a 750 person luncheon for the YMCA in downtown LA, and then we did a 250 person on the top of the US Bank building, and it was so cool. Stedman, myself, my sister, we went onto the helipad on top of the building. They took us all the way. I have a video of it. I had posted it. And it was just so cool to be with that man and that energy, because at the end I told him, I remember when I walked him back took him back to his hotel and we walked him in, I said, Stedman, I go, I want to say thank you very much for being an amazing human being. I said, I love you, my brother. And he goes, oh, Mauricio. And he has this twang, this voice that's very soft. And he goes, I love you too, man. And he gave me a big hug. And I was like, and he's like, fucking 6'7", so he has to bend over and gives me a big hug, and I'm just like, it's just right now what we need is we need to have a human kindness. We need to have a lot of love right now, because this world is just crazy.
What you said is so poignant, because we have to be, whether if you're not married and you're single, you have to be okay in your singleness. You got to know how to love yourself in your singleness. You got to know who you are in your singleness before you could be married, because you cannot pour from an empty cup. So if you are empty, if you don't have it in you, there's no way you can give it to anybody else. Oof. So having that part together is going to make, and whoever you get has to have attracted to the same thing.
And I've been, for me, it gets lonely. Don't be fooled either. I mean, there's moments where like, you're sitting on the couch and you're like, man, is this the way life is going to be? And then that's when your mind starts playing tricks on you though too. And I just tell myself, I'm like, you know what? No, that's not the way life is going to be. When the time comes, it will happen. Right. So for me, I got to just stay focused. I got to stay the course. So on my vision board, I have
the best you that you could be, so that you can prepare yourself for your soulmate. Because that's what's happening right now. She's preparing herself for you. You have no idea. She's preparing herself for you.
Maybe, and then it becomes toxic.
She's in the process of incubating, and she's preparing herself for you.
And you know what? Honestly, I'm not even going to worry about it, because I don't have the bandwidth to go that way. What I know is that
those hearts are on your vision board for a reason. So you gotta think about it,
because it's a core part. But from there, I have the homes that I want to have, the lifestyle that I want to live. I love Miami. Miami's like a second home to me. So I love going to Miami. I love being on the beach. I love being, like I love that lifestyle. That screams me. I love beautiful cars. I love beautiful toys. I want to travel the world. I want to get to the point where I can share with others wealth and build wealth. Real, like we're talking big money wealth. And as you climb up that ladder, or that it's the truth. It gets lonely up there, because not that many people, they don't understand our mindsets. People that are successful, people that have a lot of responsibilities, and that's what it is. We have so many people that depend on us to make decisions, that if we don't make the right decision, the trickle effect. This is a perfect example. Look what we're dealing with right now. The people, and we won't get into politics, but people didn't make the right decisions. And now when the shit hit the fan and we're having with all this chaos, the extreme is to shut everything down. Why? Because you have to reset everything. And that's what we're dealing right now. We're dealing with what I call as a global reset. The shit got out of control and the bells were being rang, but everyone was so focused on this is crazy times. The money that is coming out right now is so much money in this world, that if you're not making money right now, this is a true statement too. If you're not making money right now, you're making bad decisions. Period. And I say that to everyone that's listening. That if you're not making money right now, then you're not making the right decisions, because there is so much money.
Some people are mentally focused on the loss and the lack and what's not happening.
Not me. I'll tell you what I've done right now. While I've been sitting, I have friends in Vietnam and China. I've ordered right now. We're in the process of ordering about 100,000 masks. I get the masks for $1.50 and I'm going to go flip them for $3. I'm not a mask guy. I just have relationships.
Right.
You know,
Love it. I love the way you think.
That's $1 million in my pocket, guys, for just selling masks.
Right.
Making money is not I don't want to say making money is not sexy, but the things that make money aren't always going to be sexy. It's not being an athlete or an artist. You know, they have to go through their struggle. They go through their pressures, their pain pressures to get to where they're at.
Yeah.
Staffing company, I never thought. I mean, I'm an entertainer. I'm nightlife. I'm glitz and glamour. I like to wear the suits and be all pretty boyed out. And I'm walking in a construction site now. I don't mind because I can dress the part too. I'll put my work boots on and my jeans and boom, let's go. Let's rock and roll. I don't mind getting my hands dirty because I know what it takes. I'm not living that facade or that fake life that thinking that I'm just gonna wait around like right now while we're dealing with all this time. Get shit done. Get organized. Clean up your files. I mean, get your files. Get in order. I mean, get organized. There's so much stuff. I'll tell you right now, we will never have this kind of time ever again in the history of the world while we're living again.
I agree.
We will never have this kind of time ever again. And right now is the time to refocus, re-energize. Don't make excuses. You can't go work out. Go run. Do a workout inside the house. Every morning I get up, I go work out too because I need to have those endorphins. That energy just fires me up. And right now, I don't even want to tell you numbers because I don't want to. This is not about it. It's just I don't want to brag, but I'm just telling you right now. So right now in just real estate deals, I got about $200 million in real estate deals right now on hold. I mean, but we're still negotiating. We're still making calls. My phone right now has been blowing up. I'm like, this is important. I'm like, but people, they're still doing business right now. We're just doing business differently, and we're going to be doing business differently. This online stuff has created this is another business that has already started. I mean, this is
Listen, I mean, and I'll speak to that because just getting on Zoom and on Facebook, the bandwidth is so backed up that I had to switch to another system because people are doing business differently. People are now doing business on Zoom and on Facebook, and they're doing all kinds of stuff.
It's funny because
it has changed.
That's their headquarters right there.
I seen that on one of your lives too.
Yeah,
he's in the penthouse, y'all. He's in the penthouse, y'all. But you know what? What you said, Mauricio, when you said if you are not making money now, when I was leaving this morning, I was backing out of my driveway, and my neighbor, he was behind me. I was like, "What is this man doing blocking my?" But it was my homeboy. He's my neighbor, and he's in the same business that I'm in. But we were just kind of talking shop, and he was telling me that the lady that owns the company he works for, he said she reminds me of you. She's a Latino version of you, and she's also worth $500 million. And here's how she started, right?
Yeah, I'm single.
Right. And so, but you know what I did?
Money attracts money. Don't ever forget that either. That's another one. Right. Money attracts money. Period.
That's right.
Successful people attract successful people. That's just. I'm gonna just keep.
Poor mindset attracts a poor mindset. If you have a poor mindset, everybody around you is gonna be poor. I mean, that's just what it is. But what I told this man before I left this conversation, what he told me how she started what she started, how she started, and she built this to this $500 million business. I said, and I'll have that particular business that you're talking about by next week. Believe that. Right? So he told me what she did, how she made her money, now what she's doing. I'm doing that. I'm duplicating that, and the business will be starting next week. Believe it.
That's it.
You just gotta execute on some things and execute on them now. I mean, if you don't have a lot of money, like Dave said yesterday, trade services, barter services, but you have to be willing to invest in yourself. So I mean,
I agree. If you go into something and you're already going with the losing attitude, you're gonna lose.
That's right.
I didn't, guys. Everyone out there, 2008, 2009, I lost everything. I was making millions. I had a Ferrari 360 convertible, living in a badass. I mean, my cost of living was $20,000 a month. I had $40.
When I filed bankruptcy, when my cost of living was $20,000 a month.
$40 and 2008. And you know what though? Nobody can ever take away what I have up here. That's it. My ability to make money my ability to communicate, my ability to not be afraid. That's the other part. You can't be afraid. You know, it takes risk, big rewards, even little risk or risk. Period. That it you know, it's just you can't be afraid. You can't be afraid. If you're afraid, then I don't want you on my team. You know, no disrespect to anyone.
Yeah.
I just you gotta want to
Guess
run.
what? Scared
You gotta
money
run with
don't make money.
you gotta run and if you gotta want to run with the Lions or the Wolves, whichever ones you can associate to.
That's right.
You gotta want to run and be that aggressive person that wants it. Guys, I don't want to go to bed hungry. I don't want to
Scared
not leave. I don't
money
want
don't make money.
yeah, and you know, I just get fired up. So sometimes I get really like I'm not trying to shove things down people's throat. Hey, guys, some
Oh,
people.
I'm saying I'm
Hey,
scared money don't make money. Like you got
some
to be
people,
afraid to make that money.
some people want it, some people don't. You know, some people want to fake the funk. Hey, whatever. I'm good for. I got no. I judge nobody. I'm at the end of the day. If I can help you, I'm here to help. If you don't want my help, hey, that's cool too. Whatever. There's people out there that want to be helped and want to do good business. I have a couple of sayings that I want to do good business. I want to do good business with good people where nobody gets hurt. Three simple rules. Do what you say you're going to do and deliver when you say you're going to deliver it. Don't start giving me song and dance and stories because a story is a story. I don't want to hear stories. I want you to be, I want to do stuff black and white. I understand that there's gray areas, but if we start from a place of black and white, then we're clear. We have clear understanding and goals. If you come from a grayscale area, then we're never gonna. We're. It's like a bad relationship. If the relationship comes from a bad place, it's not gonna work out. So,
Yeah. Let me ask you this, because people have been asking. People, Marquita, she said her husband wants to get in contact with you. He sent you a DM. How do people? People want you to coach them.
I want to make a disclosure. Anything that comes out of here that comes from your contacts, you're part of the team. So whatever, I will always. I'm an inclusive person. I'm not that guy or that person that. I love relationships, but we're all gonna win. So if anyone comes from from what we're doing here, we do it together as a team. I'll say, hey, Constance, someone contact me because at the same time, you got to vouch for that person too.
Yeah. But people want to work with you.
Yeah, well, I'm down to work with. I'm down to work with people as long as, again, let's not waste time and let's all win. There's.
You ain't about wasting time, y'all.
Yeah, no,
you said that about
this is not even wasting time. Constance, I'm telling you, this is time well spent, invested, because I know that out of all the people that are watching, it's going to impact somebody. Someone is going to listen, and there's going to be a key
whole
word.
lot of people. Trust.
Yeah, well, you're impacting.
This is didn't know who Mauricio Mejia was. They now know who you are. Trust me, they've already Googled you. They're already looking you up. They didn't found your phone number.
There's some good stuff, and then there's maybe one or two bad things out there, but those are fake news, fake
news.
I was young and dumb. So, but no, I was no, I want to do good business with good people. I don't want to waste time. Like, again, it's just when we were kids. I remember one of my mentors that owned all the nightclubs in San Francisco. He owned Sound Factory, City Nights, a bunch of like the big clubs. And I remember he told me, his name is Britt Hahn. Britt told me one day when I opened up my nightclub, I was so excited. I'm like, oh man, yeah, I made my first million from the nightclub. I had in 8 months I paid back $1 million. It was crazy. That's how much money we were printing out of that club. I remember that I called him and he's like, oh, that's cool, that's cute. He's like, that's cute. Yeah, he had already made 100 million back in early 2000. He was in real estate and entertainment. Wow. And he said to me, he goes, Mauricio, he goes, in your 20s, go out and have fun and blow your brains out. Go, go have fun. Go, just in your 30s, you're going to start to mature and you're going to start to, do your sprints. In your 40s, you're going to start to be in your strides, because now in our 40s, it's just a different. In our 30s, we're like, we want to just, we want to catch up for the 20s because we weren't smart enough in the 20s to get it together. So we're sprinting. In our 40s, we're striding. He says, Mauricio, if you don't have it figured out by the time you're age 50, which for me is going to be 6 years from now, consider yourself a truck driver for the rest of your life. That's all he had to say to me. And I've had people that have come to me very black and white, very linear to me, and have been very hard on me. Like, but I take that as like, you know what? Thank you very much, because I want it to be raw. I don't want it. I don't want you to tell me what I want to hear. I hate people that tell me what I want to hear. I want you to tell me the truth. Like, if I fucked up, tell me that I messed up, and I'll fix it. I also will take accountability. I am not afraid or ashamed to say, hey, you know what? I'm sorry. I fucked it up. What can I do to make it better? And that's how we start to work the problems together. Now, there's some people that don't want to work things out, and I'm like, all right, well then, hey, we won't
You
work
got to
things
be
out.
accountable. I mean, there's no way you can grow if you don't own your shit and be accountable to it. The only way you can grow. That's just period. Period. Um, Before we go,
Yeah.
I want to talk about your give back, because again, like I said, that's one of the biggest things that really impressed me about you, your philanthropy. So what are some things that you're working on? Some of your give back stuff that you've been working on.
So I'm big on children, giving back to kids that like in the music or arts stuff, or just people that need. I sat on the Cesar Chavez board. We gave scholarships to kids. I'm big on the homeless community. I'm a big advocate for homeless communities. It's those people because not that I was in a severe homelessness situation, because I wasn't out on the streets, but I was in a version of being homeless. Not having my own place, and sleeping on the floor, and just the experience that I went through. I'm big on those things. Like I help out a local pastor out here in cleanup, where they do homeless camp cleanups. I get my construction and my developer partners to donate, whether it's resources, food, or money. Money goes a long way, but I like to get my hands. I like to be more involved in this. Write a check. I don't want to say anybody can just write a check, but when you give and you get involved, you become a part of it. So every year I like to get involved in giving back to kids that don't have the whether it's toys for kids during the holidays, or food. I don't know. I just think those are some basic things that really just touch me, and I get really emotional about it, because I know what it's like to not have.
Yeah.
Just and I think a lot of us have that experience. So for me, I get satisfaction knowing that for like, when I say that I want to make all this money, is because I want to make things. I want to give back. I want to make an impact in our community. And for me, one thing that I started realizing that the media and all the stuff that's coming out, like everything was like something lives matters. And for me, it wasn't about a certain segment. To me, it's all people, all lives matter. It's everyone. Let's be inclusive, versus creating these lanes where it divides people. Why not? Why not? I mean, everybody matters. We all matter. We're all human beings. We all cut our finger and we all bleed the same color red blood. I don't see. I come from no color lines. I grew up in LA. I mean, it's Latinos, blacks, whites, Asians, everybody. I mean, my club.
That's how it is. I mean, that's how it is in San Jose as well. I mean, that's what I grew up with. I mean, it's just,
so I want to be inclusive. I want it to be for all to share. But obviously, there's other. Like Stedman was teaching me too. He was like, he loves to do things for kids, and that's why he'll talk. Like we did 1,000 kids in East LA. They bust in 1,000 kids from all the different high schools, and he'll do that for free. And that's his way of giving back to and planting seeds in this young generation. And I saw that, I was like, I like that. I love to go talk to schools, to young kids, and I can, because I can relate, even though I'm older, a lot older than these younger kids, I can relate to where their mind is at, because I was there one time. I was a little gang, hanging around with the gangbangers. I was hanging around with the taggers. I was hanging around with all the troublemakers, until it clicked. I stopped being so mad at the world.
Yeah.
And I think that's
the whole purpose of the give back, is because somebody needs to see somebody who's been through what they've been through, that can help bring them along the way. Because I need to see somebody that looks like me, that shows me that, it's possible. There's a lot of little brown boys out there that don't know it's possible until they can see somebody that looks like you, that says, oh my God, I can be a millionaire. I could be a billionaire. instead of
Yeah.
running after the guy that's in the neighborhood. They can
Right.
go after somebody that looks like you.
Right.
You are a prime example, and that's why it's so important. One of the things that I know for sure that the people who are highly successful, the most beautiful hearts, they give back, and they give back from a place of just purity, and that's the reason why their success is sustains them.
Yeah.
And so understand this, you guys, you don't have to be a millionaire, billionaire,
No. No.
multi-billionaire to give
No.
back. You don't have to have a bunch of money to give back. You
No.
can do that
No.
by going out and feeding somebody. You can do
Yeah.
that by going, giving somebody a couple of dollars. Who cares what they're going to do with it? I don't
Yeah.
care. Just
Don't
give
judge.
from
No,
your
let's
heart.
not judge. Let's not judge.
And give
Just
from
give.
your heart.
Yeah, and that doesn't mean go run on the street and just start giving. It just
Yeah.
give from your heart because you
Right.
feel that the moment is right.
If
That's
you
just
feel compelled to.
you cut out. Are you there?
Say that one more time. We broke up a little bit. Yeah, go say that one more time.
All right. Which part?
Give,
Give. Yeah. Give from your heart and give when you feel that at the moment that it's the right thing to do. Don't go run out there and start just giving to give. No, that's not the secret.
your
That's not
heart.
the magic. The magic has
Right.
to come from love. It's crazy because at the end of the day, everything just comes back to, just love, give. Be human. Be human. That's the only way that I really like. Just be human. And
The law of reciprocity. And you don't
that,
give
it
back
gets me.
what you give
I
back.
get really like just yeah, just fuck, man. Just
I love it.
there's too much hate right now.
Yeah.
We just gotta take care of each other. Just I
Yeah.
don't know.
Amen. I love it. And I love you, Mauricio. Thank you. Thank you for your
I love you
transparency.
too.
Thank you for your
Oh, thank
honesty.
you. Sorry,
I really
I
want
didn't want to end it on a cry, but fuck,
no,
man.
it is absolutely beautiful. Keep them
It's
flowing.
just it's fuck, man. We gotta come back together. We gotta really. This is when you see who really is true. It's like we just got to take care of each other. We got to look out for each other. I mean, fuck, there's too many haters out there. There's too many people that want to see us down and out. But I use that as fuel for me. That's just my fuel. So I just, like I said, if I can help somebody out that really one, they'll meet me halfway and they want to be successful in their own way. I'm like you, man. I love the fact that we had this conversation. This is like therapy for me.
Absolutely beautiful. This is absolutely beautiful. Thank you. So Mauricio will be at the We Summit when we do have the We Summit, but we wanted to give you just a little bit of a taste of what you are going to see, what you're going to experience. This man is real, and I'm only around real and transparent people. You can have all the money in the world, but if you're a jerk, if you're egotistical, I don't want anything to do with you.
Nah.
And it only lasts for so long. You do.
Money doesn't define who we are. It's just
Right.
what defines us is what we do. Just being human and being kind to people and loving. That's just I
Look
don't
at the
know. Anyway,
comments. Look at the comments. They're loving on you, Mauricio. They are loving on you, brother.
thank
So thank you, sir. Love you, and
yeah,
thank you
thank
today
you.
for talking to us. You guys, make sure that you still have it on your calendar for the We Summit because it is going to happen, and you get to meet this beautiful human being in person.
Thank
Take
you.
care and God bless.
Bye.
Peace.